We will start this meeting of the Unsafe Building Commission for Tuesday, August 20th, 2024. Can we get a roll call, please?
Dwayne Heater.
Here.
Diane Whitehead.
Here.
Rhonda Dooning.
Here.
Thank you. Do we have the approval of the, okay, never mind. That's us. Did anybody have any questions on the minutes? Any changes or?
There are no questions or concerns. I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes from the July 16th Unsafe Building Commission.
I'll second.
Okay, all approved, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. We have proof of publication.
Yes, thank you. We do have a publisher's claim, which is the proof of publication for this hearing. The proof of publication sets out the time, date, place, and the items on the agenda for the hearing. This notice is in order to hold the public hearing, and I would ask the board to make a motion to accept the proof of publication.
I make a motion to accept the proof of publication.
Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carried. Anybody that plans to speak on a property today, can you please stand to be sworn in?
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have no old business. Move on to new business. The first property is 201 North 12th Street. It's an emergency vacate, sealing, and cleanup. Inspector Henry.
Thank you. Good morning.
Morning.
201 North 12th Street, Richmond, Indiana. The owner is Michael Taylor. This gentleman lives in Hilo, Hawaii.
Oh.
Myself and Aaron Jordan were called out to the property on a complaint of squatters and drug use, trash, debris, those types of things. There's been no contact with the owner since letters were sent to him. Property has no electric. The electric panel in the basement had been tampered with. The water is on and in the owner's name. There's broken windows, standing water in the basement, trash and debris on the property, syringes and other signs of drug use. Here's the pictures of the property showing the front of the property, side yard, some trash and debris, one of several doors unsecured. The basement was unsecured with trash and debris also in the basement, standing water. If you look at the middle picture here towards the bottom of the picture, there's a syringe laying there, and then trash and debris also in other parts of the property.
May I ask, usually, seems like you don't usually go into the inside. What constitutes going inside versus out staying taking pictures outside?
Well, the property was unsecured and wide open, and because of water, we didn't know if there was a broken water line, a sewer line, and just inside that door was the electrical panel, which Aaron then noticed that wires had been cut to it and it had been tampered with.
Sometimes there are other public officials, like the health department, Aaron Jordan is the building commissioner, police officers, who are sometimes able to get access when the inspectors cannot get access. So it's sometimes we get a lot of pictures of what we can from the sidewalk, but I think sometimes there is a possibility that our inspectors can get access when there are other people there who can kind of facilitate that.
Okay, thank you.
And again, there's several broken or open windows. The steps leading to the upper floor, as you notice, the yellow circle, they had put a 4x4 on the window ledge and was supporting part of the stairs leading upstairs. Again, other needles and such, drug use, signs of drug use on the property, needle caps in different locations on the property. There was a delay in getting the property sealed up due to people squatting on the property. We just recently got them basically out of the property. So the contractor started the cleanup and sealing yesterday and should be completed by tomorrow. So at this time, I asked the Unsafe Building Commission to affirm the action taken by code enforcement to clean up and seal 201 North 12th Street.
Do you do any cleanup on the inside or only the outside?
Just the outside.
Okay. Let me seal it. Do you have any questions?
I'll make a motion.
No, sorry. Do we have, I didn't know if we have anybody. I don't know.
No.
Do we have anybody here to speak on the property? Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Okay. Then I'll go ahead and make a motion to affirm the emergency action taken by the enforcement authorities for the property located at 201 North 12th Street, as recommended by the enforcement authority and based on the information provided by the enforcement authority with respect to the condition of the property.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carried. The next property is at 911 Boyer Street. It's a demo of a house, a garage, fence, and a tree. Commissioner Ms. Ritchie?
This property is actually going to go through the blight program. It is owned by a Mustafa K. Jobber. He lives in Michigan. This property has been vacant for quite some time. We usually go here every year to have the grass cut. So you can see from this picture that there's overgrown vegetation on the house and in the front yard. Again, more overgrown vegetation here. There's also gaps in the windows on the picture in the front or west side of the property. See here on the south side of the roof area that the roof is in bad shape and it's missing some of the soffit. The middle picture, the siding is loose and there's gaps in the windows on the west side of this property. So the elements are getting into the property, you know, snow, water, whatever, what have you. And then this is in the back. You can see that there's missing windows. Part of the roof to the garage is collapsing. There's a dead tree in the back and overgrown vegetation and limbs also, trash and debris. There's glass on the side of the garage on the north side. You can see here how bad the roof is to the garage. See the missing windows, and there's the missing garage door. Again, like I had previously stated, this property's been vacant for many years. Has open windows, overgrown vegetation growing on the side of the house, rotted soffit, deteriorated house roof, huge limbs in the backyard, dead tree, garage with crumbling roof that could eventually collapse. Several of the neighbors have called the code enforcement office complaining about squatters going in and out of the windows. This property is located near Cornerstone Christian Fellowship Church. It has signs of lead-based paint and mold. The property hasn't had water since 2013, so that's well over 10 years. Hasn't had electric since 10/24 of 13. The house was built in approximately 1890, according to the GIS. There's $844 due in property taxes, and we respectfully ask the Unsafe Building Commission to make a motion to affirm the order to demolish the house and garage and to remove the tree limbs, the dead tree, the fencing, and the overgrown vegetation located at 911 Boyer Street.
What's the effect of it being in the blight program?
What do you mean?
We're tearing it down, or you're recommending tearing it down, right?
Yes,
So what,
correct.
is the blight money to tear it down?
Yes, the blight money
Okay.
will tear it down.
In-house.
So we will get money from, so the Economic Development Corporation and the Wayne County will enter into a contract with the city, and they will pay for this property to be
The
demolished.
blight, I think I remember this now. The blight money's just to tear down properties that need to be tore down.
Correct.
Okay, okay.
So it will pay for all of it.
You have any questions?
I guess my next, with no response from the homeowner, so the past due taxes are not collectible, or there's, how, does that stay on? How do we go after him for those funds?
We will put what's called a super lien on the property, and it will be added to the property taxes.
Is there anybody here to speak on this property? I think she always gets me if I don't ask that, regardless. I think you went for the record, right? Okay. Okay, so, let's see, that's a demo. So, I make a motion to adopt the statements of the enforcement authority as the findings of the commission based on the evidence and testimony, and to affirm the submitted order, and for the order, this, is that the right one? It just affirms the order, right?
Yes.
We're tearing it down. Okay.
Sounds right, yes.
Sorry. Become a continuous enforcement order for the property at 911 Boyer Street.
Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. The next property is at 811 North 19th Street. It's a demo of a house, garage. Commissioner Sherry Ritchie.
Again, this is also a blight program property. This house has been vacant for quite some time as well. As you can see, it has foundation issues, unsecured windows, peeling paint on the door. The roof was in bad shape. It has missing windows on the south side of the property.
You said the roof's in bad shape. Can you describe what you're seeing?
The shingles, there's missing shingles, and you can see that there's missing and rotted soffit on the corner of the northwest corner of the roof that needs repaired.
On that third picture, is that showing that it's collapsing?
No, that's just showing that there's also rotted soffit as well. And then on the east side of the property in the back, at the bottom, you can also see that there's foundation issues. And then there's a picture of the garage, and you can see that it's also missing windows, and that it is in disrepair also. See that the soffit needs repaired.
CMCZ Properties, is that a local place?
CMCZ, yes, the owner is local. And there's also brush. Now, I will tell you that they started working on the property, but they have stopped. And I went by there just this morning, and the grass is well over 12 inches. They haven't mowed it. So I don't have a problem with contacting them and trying to work with them, but I would still like to affirm the order on this property, because we do have people who have good intentions, and then they end up running out of money, and then it doesn't get replaced, like they will replace the roof, but then the windows never get taken care of.
Yeah.
So,
Is this a blight program?
yes, this is all, everything that I'm presenting is going to be through blight. This property has severe structural damage to the foundation. It needs repaired. They're missing windows. Soffit and fascia needs repaired. The property is located near the Townsend Center, a park trail, and within walking distance to Star School. The property has signs of lead-based paint, mold, and asbestos. The property has had over 14 enforcement violations since 2020. The property hasn't had water since January 4th of 2021, or electric since 11/18 of 2019. The house was built in 1927 per GIS, and we respectfully ask the Unsafe Building Commission to make a motion to affirm the order to demolish the house, garage, and to get the tree limbs and the debris out of the yard.
Thank you. You have any questions? Is there anybody here to speak on this property? Thank you.
I make a motion to adopt the statements of the Enforcement Authority as the findings of the commission based on the evidence and testimony, and to affirm the submitted order, and for the order to become a continuous enforcement order for the property located at 811 North 19th.
I second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. The next property is at 525 North 21st Street. It's a demo of a house, garage. Commissioner Sherry Ritchie.
Okay, this property is owned by a Linda J. Meir. I have not had any contact with this owner. This property is more of a nuisance property. It's located close to Star School. As you can see, there's trash and debris in the yard. Since the property's been empty for so long, it seems like people just dump stuff in the yard or in the driveway all the time. You can see that there's furniture and tarp and trash over here. We have to go to the property and have the grass cut every year also. You can see that there's broken windows on the upper second floor on the west side of the property. Missing windows on the front porch by the west side of the property. You can see here all the overgrown vegetation towards the back leading towards the garage. I did catch squatters in the garage and in the backyard. I have had the police over there also in the past, and the maintenance crew has been there and had to reboard some of those windows. So again, like I stated, that this property has been vacant for several years. It's missing doors and windows. Someone is always dumping trash and debris in the yard. I have caught squatters over there. The property is located 2 blocks from Star School. It has signs of lead-based paint and mold. It was built in 1920. There have been 7 enforcement violations since 2020. There's $242.98 owed on property taxes. There hasn't been water since 12/9 of 2013. I mean, so that's, again, well over a decade. And there hasn't been electric since 9/4 of 2020. So we respectfully ask the Unsafe Building Commission to make a motion to affirm the order to demolish the house, garage, and any fencing located at 521 North 21st Street. I'm sorry, 525 North 21st
Yeah.
Street.
Questions? Do we have anybody here to speak on the property at 525 North 21st Street? Thank you. Let me state for the record, I called Sherry the commissioner, it's inspector.
Yes, sir.
I'll make sure there's no confusion. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Make a motion?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see, I make a motion to affirm the action, emergency action taken by the Enforcement Authority.
It's not an emergency.
That's not?
No, it's just a regular.
That's a
The
regular.
rest of these all just the regular one at the bottom.
Here, right here?
Yeah,
Written.
it's been so long.
Make a motion, commission, well, let's see this one. I make a motion
Yeah.
to adopt the statement of enforcement of the authorities as finding by the commission based on the evidence and the testimony, and to affirm this, to affirm and submitted order, and for the order to become a continuous enforcement order.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
We'll do another process.
Motion carried. Thanks for keeping us straight there, Diane.
Well, I just had my
Sure,
finger
I
on
did.
it, is how I.
Yeah. Yeah, switches around. Okay, the next, that's good. The next property is at 101 Northwest G Street. It's a demo of a house, garage. Inspector Ritchie?
Okay. This property is owned by Allen Investments 3 LLC. They are actually out of Lexington, South Carolina. I haven't had any contact with the owner. This property is a nuisance property. I think every inspector's been to this property at one point. It's been emergency sealed before, I believe, by Mr. Henry. I have it now, going to take it through the blight program. But there's people living at this property. The police department has gone there with me several times to ask people to leave. We've had it boarded up and sealed. We
You say
put,
people, you mean squatters?
no, squatters, sorry. Squatters or homeless. I've had the maintenance crew there to re-board the back door. They've even bought a lock for it to try and keep people out. There was a lady living on the side of the garage in the woods. Neighbors call and say that there's parties going on at night. There is a lady here, Erin Stevens' sister. We'll probably be talking about the property after I'm done. So as you can see, there's junk furniture, boarded up missing windows, just a ton of property that homeless people have brought into the house. There's junk and things in the backyard that continuously gets cleaned up by the maintenance crew, and then it's right back the next couple of days. You can see that the roof to the garage has a tarp on it and needs repaired, and the crumbling shingles. Back here is trash towards the back of the side of the garage, where they'll go back there and just make a mess, where people have been living and will just leave their trash.
Is that, in that last picture, was that weeds and rank vegetation, and is that siding?
That's siding on the side of the garage, to the left of the garage. You can see there's more damage to the soffit of the garage. There's overgrown brush, there's furniture on the front porch. I think that has been removed. I think the maintenance crew did remove that, but just, you can see just more neglect to the property here on the north side of the property. In the front, you can see the missing windows. Okay, this property is located 3 blocks of a public park and a community food bank. It has signs of lead-based paint and mold. There hasn't been water since 2015, so almost 9 years, and electric, there hasn't been there since March 14th of 2017. The house was built in 1880. There's $1,352.40 owed in property taxes. I have 11 violations that have been processed in the last 4 years. Like I had stated before, the police have been called to this property numerous times by neighbors across the street, and we respectfully ask the Unsafe Building Commission to make a motion to affirm the order to demolish the house and the garage located at 101 Northwest G Street.
You have any questions?
You said there was a wooded area that's,
Yeah.
is that coming down as well?
That doesn't, it's not part of the property. I
Okay.
believe that's part of like the railroad side of it.
Do we have anybody here to speak on the property at 101 Northwest G Street? Okay. Can you come to the podium and state your name, please, ma'am?
Hi, my name is Kebra Hoskins, and I was calling. I came because my family's lived at the house of corner at 134 Northwest G Street over 65 years. We've been on that corner. We lived across the street for a while, but we've been on that corner probably about over 70 years. But we've had a problem with this homeless issue. I just returned from California in May. I had because my husband passed away last year and I had to go take care of that business. But since I've been back, my neighbors have informed me that because they were sending me pictures. The one that's right beside me, she had sent me pictures of the debris that a squatter has left there. I've got them on my phone. But the red house at 101, we knew the previous owners the previous owner that was there like 40, 50 years ago. Immaculate. But since returning, the house is boarded. The broken windows, boarded windows, like you could see there, the tarp is on there. But the biggest complaint, and the police and code enforcement have been out several times. We've seen as many as like 4 police cars and 2 code enforcement out. But what they'll do is the people will run away for like a couple days, and then they're back again. And then what will happen, there's one lady in particular that, because from the house, what you can't see, we'll say the house is here, but if you go to the right, it's the railroad track all along there. And from the house down to corner of G and Ridge, it's bushes, a lot of bushes and everything. And so what this particular lady has done, she's moved from the house and directly across the street in front of my house, 134, she has put there was debris, I mean, probably as much debris as almost as long as this table, and I'm not exaggerating. And then she covered it up with tarp. And then there was a complaint, and then within probably the next day, all of that was moved because code enforcement had been out. But all that was moved, and we thought, oh, good. But I noticed there was an opening in the bushes, and I saw her for myself, had moved a lot of the things back there, covered them with the blue tarp, and one day I saw her sitting on top smoking a cigarette. And so it's like she moved from being visible to invisible. And so what would be wonderful is if they could cut all those bushes, because it's just like a hiding place. And I've only seen, there's a man and a woman, but my concern is that we only see 2 in the open. I don't know how many are behind there, but I'm concerned, being that I now live by myself and others do on my street, that we are possible crime or vandalism. I've been vandalized. My car right there on the corner had been vandalized a few years. Had KKK spray painted on my vehicle right there at my house while I was at home in the night. But being that there's tracks and all these the trees and bushes have overgrown, if anything happened, anyone can do whatever, jump the tracks, and they're gone. There's a street light right there at the corner of G and Ridge, but it's so poorly lit. It's not good. I don't really feel safe, and I've seen the lady bring grocery carts after grocery carts of debris and bring it over there and deposit it and everything. And for weeks and weeks and weeks, and this has been going on for many months. But I have empathy for someone that doesn't have a place to stay, but at the same time, I have to consider the fact that our property value is being affected by this. And then also I'm concerned about crime rate, and everything. And because once you've had something done to you, once you've been vandalized, it makes you a little leery and feel unsafe, and especially because it's almost like a dead end right there where that area is. But there's trash, debris. We've seen many people coming and going.
Out of the bushes? Out of the bush area?
Out of the bush area, I've seen 2 people, a man and a woman. But at the house.
So at the house, the bushes, all of it together. The house is the main problem, though, right?
The house is the main problem there.
Yeah.
But for me, the house is like maybe 5 houses down.
Yeah.
But she has put her stuff directly across the street from me.
Right.
And that was my concern. You know, it was just too close to home.
Right.
And I've seen her bring food, snacks, because she probably gets them from the Hunt Street giveaway. And so I have constant problems for years with groundhogs. They've broken in my basement window. They have chewed through the wood. I have had, they've had babies.
Yeah.
For years and years. I've had to have animal control out to remove a cat from my basement. I've had mice and raccoons
Right.
that come up, and so it's just
Personal experience, the groundhogs dig a hole down into your basement, and then the raccoons go down there and live, and the cats.
And I have put it's almost like chicken wire. I've put it all around my deck, my lower deck. The when you come up the steps there, the gate. I've put it up around the gate, along the fence that's along my house. I've put chicken wire in it there and buried it even out to try to keep the rodents out and everything. We've had deer. I've seen 2 raccoons that were just came up out of the gutter and coming towards me, actually.
They're coming out of the gutter. Are they possibly living back in the wooded area?
Probably, there's a possibility that they are. But over in that wooded area are deer. I've seen deer over there, and they've even come across the street to my house and nibbled on the flowers in broad daylight.
Yeah.
But I was concerned because of the fact that our family has, we knew the owner, but we've, with us being, with those of us that live there now, if there's one, if I feel if something's not taken care of now, I don't know if it can grow and get out of control.
Yeah.
And I even had one officer that came out that spoke to the lady that, I'll call her the squatter, the lady. He spoke to her, and I noticed that he was there, and so I came to the front door, and he came over and spoke to me, and I said, I'm concerned for my safety.
Yeah.
And I said, what do you suggest I do? And he said, personally, he said, I'll tell you what I've told other people. Get a weapon. And so I have gone target shooting. I plan on getting a weapon.
Yeah.
But I don't want to resort to that.
Right.
I just want to, I'm here because I want help. And a big thing would be if someone could come, if the city could come, because the property belonged to our neighbor 4 doors down, the Bennett's, for years. But then I just found out that the property was sold. And now the portion of it is public property. But the thing is, if they could just come and cut down the bushes, the trees, so you can see the tracks, because that's the way it was when we lived there. You can see the tracks. But now, God only knows what's behind there. And because the squatters have been known to go from that area where in front of my house to go over the tracks and be right there where they have the auction place,
Do
the
we know if
auction
the
building.
city owns that property where the woods are? Or who would own
Is
that?
that railroad property?
And I'm guessing that we are not the body to handle that either, though, right?
Overgrown
Who would-
bushes, we can.
Oh, can we?
I mean, you all look at that all the time.
Is that something that
Overgrown,
we deal with then?
To some extent.
With this property, and it butts right up to basically the railroad tracks. So the railroad company owns part of it, and then there's the property in question.
But you said someone by the name of Bennett used to own that property, so
Yeah,
someone
the
privately.
there
might
were
own it.
4 houses down. Larry Bennett's
Yeah.
I
family.
remember
They I think it was Larry himself, senior, that had owned that for a long time. But then I just spoke with his son, who stopped by the house probably about 2 or 3 months ago, and he said they no longer own it. And someone else owns it. But then also there's a portion of it that is public property. But if somebody comes by and occasionally will cut that grass there from the red house down to the corner, but it's the bushes.
Right.
It's the bush, because, for, when we were coming up, those bushes weren't there. But if we could see, there's one big tree, but if we could see the tracks, and I would feel safer when I look out my window, I can see whatever is there. But when things are hidden, that's where there's a concern, because you don't know who, what, or where is behind there. And, it gets to the point, desperate times call for desperate measures, and you don't know what people will do.
But I wonder, that Sherry and Bill, is this something that you would address?
I can address some of the overgrown vegetation, but again, some of it belongs to the railroad company.
And if
Okay,
it
yeah.
does, they can issue them a little
Yeah.
letter. They can be responsible as
talked to
well,
them.
but,
Talked to the railroad before.
I think if we take another look and do some investigation,
Yeah.
we can come up with something to rectify that situation.
Yeah.
I know Ms. Ritchie has tried to deal with the railroad company in the past, and it's very difficult.
Yeah.
But I think we look into it, or Sherry looks
but,
into it a little more.
as we have affirmed many times, you cut it and send them a bill. That
Yeah,
might get their
if we can
attention.
get legal service on them and they just simply don't respond, just because they're the railroad, it's not like we're trying to take their property or file a super lien. But if we do our normal weed lien process, as long as we get legal service on them, we should be able to go in there and cut it.
Yeah,
Used to come through there and cut all that years ago. I lived off of Laird,
did?
off of 1300 block of Harris, and they used to come through there, the
The
railroad track
company.
that crossed Northwest
Yes.
L?
it's L.
Yeah, L, and then it went further down, but they would come through there and clear all that out, and we'd get, the groundhogs would come from there.
Yeah.
We'd have to trap them, though. That was on us, when I owned the property.
Yes.
Yeah, the animals, I used to fill those holes with river rock and make so they wouldn't go down, the raccoons wouldn't go down there. And then we'd pay somebody to trap the raccoons, they take them out in the country, and that,
'Cause I've put bricks in cinder blocks.
Yeah.
Where they have, because they dug underneath portions, and so I put bricks and cinder block.
Yeah.
Along,
They'll just
where
dig another
the holes
spot
are.
until you get rid of them.
And I've watched them. I even had a picture on my phone of one I just saw about 3 weeks ago that was in my backyard.
Yeah.
Because they come up from the basement, they
Yeah.
come out for air.
Yeah.
You see them with their babies, in the yard, and they go from my house.
Yeah.
They were so often between, because my house is the corner,
Mm-hmm.
between my house and the neighbor there, they made a track in the grass because they were going so frequently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, yeah, and I hear them in my house
Yeah.
from
Yeah,
in the
you know.
basement, and so it'll
just keep getting worse if you don't get them out of there and then seal it.
and see, I didn't know if I had called to try to get, like pest control,
Yeah.
different ones to come out.
Yeah.
But those that I have called, there was, I think, Service Pros and something with wildlife something to see if they would come and trap them out of my basement. But then this one will refer me to this. I've been referred to I've called 4 different numbers. Nobody doesn't handle that area, or maybe they don't handle groundhogs or something like that. It was always an excuse, but then I'm still stuck with it, to deal with it. And I've had to have people to come to do some work at the house. When I opened my basement door, I was
Yeah.
about a month ago, I was appalled because I don't go down in the basement generally.
Yeah.
But they had ripped out the insulation stuff
Yep.
and
They'll
all
hurt your
over.
house.
But I had a gentleman that boarded up the broken window, and it was like plywood that was like this thick, and they had literally, you could see the teeth mark.
Yeah.
Where they had eaten out a hole like this big,
Mm-hmm.
and they're coming, and the cats, and I've had a cat being removed from the basement,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and the cats and the groundhogs, I guess they just live together in harmony, and they're just,
They learn to,
yeah, and so,
Yeah.
but no, if the big thing, if they can, we have a street light, but it's not the brightest, and it's right there at that
the
corner.
street light you have to get with RP&L, right?
I believe so, yes.
Some in my experience, yeah.
If you have a poll number.
Yeah, you gotta get the poll number.
They
Yes.
usually respond better when you know the poll number.
And it will take some time because they're backed up, is what I've found, but you just stay on top of them. Sometimes it's good to physically go out there too.
And I
But it
have-
won't happen right away, but they'll get on the list.
To go to, what, RPL?
You can go on their
RPNL.
you can go on their website too. There's a
Okay.
little box that you fill out.
Okay.
The
Okay.
poll number and the address.
Because I did call them a few years back because the lighting was even worse than it is now. Well, it was a little bit, and he had me go out there and read off the poll number to him and everything, and they did come out and they replaced the light, but it's dimming.
Right.
And then with this issue, when you can't really see people coming and going, and it's dim, and then you got all the bushes.
Yeah.
It's just like a prime spot for
A lot of people-
whoever. And I mean, people ride bikes going up and down, and then I see her going in the bushes and coming out. I've had to put cameras on the house just for my safety.
Yeah.
So I was just wanted to come to see if you could help us.
Yeah, it's something, there's several different things going on. I'd say I guess the inspectors will look at the foliage in that area and deal with that. We're obviously likely going to affirm this order to take that house down. The issues on your property, I would say, are things you've got to take care of.
Yes.
Get with the, maybe animal control might have some advice, but check around. We had a guy that did it on his own, and he was really good at it. He's deceased. So word of mouth, usually you can find people that can handle that kind of thing to get those animals out of there. Then you got to seal that up. That's been my personal experience. But the exterminators and they would be able to direct you, and then they would know exactly how to handle something like that.
Because I've even called the exterminators, but they don't handle groundhogs.
Right. They might be able to refer you to somebody, or maybe go down to like I know there's Animal Alliance and Help Shelter. They would definitely know how to deal with some of those things.
Animal Alliance and what?
And the Help Shelter, the animal shelters in the town.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, years ago, ended up with a batch of possums and took them down there, and they were just, it's a lot of times they've handled animals like that are wild.
Okay. And because another concern
You still have to
is-
pay, I suspect, but they could direct you,
I
yeah.
appreciate that, because I've called, because I've been referred to different ones, but to no avail.
Yeah.
But and even with the house being demolished, I'm wondering what four-legged, two-legged,
Yeah.
slithering, whatever, is going to come out of there and come to our homes across the street.
Right.
Since the
Well,
house is
they're gonna
being
go.
demolished for
They're
a new
gonna go
home.
wherever they can live, and I would guess they're living in the bushes. They're living in the house. Once the house is gone, it's much like I've heard about crime. You get rid of the crime house on your block, and unfortunately, they just move to another neighborhood. Well, that's
Yeah.
all you're really looking to do is get them out of your area.
Yeah.
So, but if you get rid of some of those, the house is likely gonna come down, and then they won't be able to live there. They'll look at the foliage and see what
We appreciate
yeah.
that.
And you're not gonna let them live in your house, so you're gonna work on getting them out of there, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Well, thank you very
I
much.
appreciate everything.
Thank you.
Sherry, I have a question for you. Priority, do you prioritize these or have a order how you're going to have these demolished or? 3 days. So we're probably looking like early November for demolition. Did you hear that? Because there is a process that,
And I understand.
yeah, she has to, but, yeah, she's going to make yours a priority. Yeah,
Question, thank you.
yeah.
Okay.
Question? Okay. I make a motion to adopt the statements of the Enforcement Authority as the findings of the commission based on the evidence and testimony, and to affirm the submitted order, and for the order to become a continuous enforcement order for the property at 101 Northwest G Street.
Second.
Have a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. The last property the last property, for what reasons, we're going to table this one.
Yes, so, and we checked before, there's no one left in the audience who wants to speak on this. We did get service by publication, but unfortunately, there was a small problem with just the mailing and the recording, so we talked to staff, and we're going to push it to October, so if the board would make a motion to table that address until October, and then we will get that reissued.
Make a motion to request the demo of the house located at 221 Northwest E be pushed to November.
Okay,
A second?
okay, second. Yeah, good. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. We have any other business? Okay. I make a motion that we adjourn this meeting of the Unsafe Building Commission.
Second?
In a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, everybody, for all your hard work and for
I
coming
will
today.
just say, off the record.